What's up, everybody? I'm so excited for this video, and I hope you are too, but first, if you're new here, smash that subscribe button to join the party. And if you're already part of the crew, show some love with a like. Let's get started.
All right, strap yourselves in because we are going deep on the final race of the season, the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. We've got articles, predictions, and all sorts of stuff to get through. Think of this as your all-access pass to the paddock.
What I'm really interested in is the Constructors' Championship. Could this finally be the year someone knocks Red Bull and Mercedes off their perch? They've been dominating for what feels like forever.
It really does feel that way, doesn't it? It's been a long time coming, if it happens. But, okay, first things first. Abu Dhabi Grand Prix, right? December 6th to the 8th. At the Marina circuit. I think this is the 16th time they've hosted the finale there.
Yeah, 16th time for Abu Dhabi. And it's the 24th and final race of the season, of course. So much has happened already. We know Max Verstappen's got his 4th Drivers' Championship, but the Constructors is still wide open. McLaren and Ferrari, neck and neck.
A proper clash of the titans. And it's not just about bragging rights this time. I mean, McLaren haven't won the championship since 1998. And for Ferrari, it's been even longer, 2008, I think.
Yeah, you're right. 2008 was their last one. And what makes it even more exciting is how close it is. Ferrari needs to outscore McLaren by 22 points to win. With a maximum of 44 points up for grabs, it's possible, but it's going to be a tough ask.
That's a massive challenge. But hey, it's Formula One, right? Anything could happen, especially when you've got drivers like we have this year. I mean, you've got Verstappen at the top, obviously, in his Red Bull.
Yeah.
Then Lando Norris, he's had a fantastic season with McLaren. And then there's Charles Leclerc for Ferrari.
And we can't forget about some of the less expected stories further down the grid. We've got Jack Doohan, for example. He's making his F1 debut, replacing Ocon at Alpine.
A rookie debut. Always adds a bit of spice to the weekend. And actually, there are a bunch of rookies in that first practice session. Isaac Hadjar's driving for Red Bull, Luke Browning for Williams, Felipe Drugovich in the Aston Martin. And McLaren's giving Rich Hirakawa some track time, too.
Yeah, those practice sessions are a good chance for the young drivers to make an impression, you know? Could be a springboard to a full-time seat one day, who knows? And it's great for us fans to get a glimpse of the future of F1.
Absolutely. Always love seeing fresh talent coming through. But for now, let's get back to the here and now, the championship, and, who might actually win the thing. DraftKings has Leclerc as the favorite for the win in Abu Dhabi.
Makes sense, really. Leclerc tends to do well on high downforce circuits, and Marina definitely fits that bill. Plus, Ferrari's car has been looking much stronger lately.
They have, haven't they? But what about, someone coming out of nowhere? A dark horse. DraftKings reckons Jack Doohan could be one to watch. Do you think he's got a chance to pull off a surprise in his first race?
Well, he's definitely got talent. His record in the junior category speaks for itself. Stepping up to F1 is a huge leap, but he seems to have a good head on his shoulders. I don't see him on the podium, but a points finish? Maybe.
And on the other side of the coin, DraftKings isn't so optimistic about Red Bull, particularly Perez. They're saying all the rumors about him leaving the team could be a distraction. Do you buy that?
Perez has been pretty consistent for Red Bull, but yeah, you never know. F1 is such a mental game. Any uncertainty can throw you off.
So it sounds like we're in for a weekend of high drama and maybe a few upsets along the way. Before we dive into all the strategic battles and potential outcomes, though, let's take a quick look at what's happening off the track. Abu Dhabi always puts on a good show, right?
Oh, yeah. Those after-race concerts are legendary. This year's lineup is fantastic.
Teddy Swims and Peggy Go on Thursday, then Maroon 5 and the Afterlife Festival on Friday. Saturday night, it's Eminem. And Muse is closing out the weekend on Sunday.
Seriously, it's a who's who of music. It just shows you how massive F1 has become. It's not just a sport anymore, it's a whole experience.
And on top of the concerts, there are parties and brunches and all sorts going on around Abu Dhabi. And let's not forget about Yas Island itself.
Ferrari World, the Louvre, Abu Dhabi, Yas Water World, Warner Bros. World, SeaWorld Abu Dhabi. I mean, come on, you could spend a week there and not see everything.
It really does sound like more than just a race weekend. It's a whole entertainment extravaganza.
Welcome back. So before we got sidetracked by all the off-track fun, we were talking about the championship and, how things can be changing at the top of F1.
Yeah, it's crazy to think that Red Bull and Mercedes might not have it all their own way anymore. But let's get back to the racing itself for a minute. We were talking about the track, and I think tire strategy is going to be super important in Abu Dhabi. It's hot, it's abrasive, you know the drill.
Absolutely. Pirelli's brought the C4 and C5 tires, which are, well, they're known to degrade pretty quickly in those conditions. So that could really mix things up strategically. Like, Ferrari have struggled with rear tire wear all season. They might need to pit 3 times, even if it's a risk.
So a two-stop strategy might not be the default this time around.
Interesting. See, this is what I love about F1. Even the smallest things can have a huge impact. But speaking of the track, Marina, how do you think the layout will affect things?
It's a tricky one, Marina. You've got high-speed corners, long straights, and then some really technical sections. So you need a car that's got good balance, good aero, and the drivers need to be adaptable, aggressive when they can be, but also precise.
Sounds like a proper test.
Yeah.
Are there any parts of the track that you think will be key for overtaking or for defending, for that matter?
Well, that long back straight leading into turn 8 is usually a good place for overtaking. We've seen some epic moves there in the past. Turn 7, the hairpin, that's another spot where you can try a late braking move, but it's risky. And then that last sector, with all those tight corners, it's all about keeping your momentum up.
Right. It's like a high-speed chess match, isn't it? Everyone thinking several moves ahead. And of course, you can't forget about the safety car. Or a virtual safety car. Throws everything up in the air. Totally. A safety car can bunch the field up, wipe out any lead you've built, and suddenly it's anyone's game. Teams have to react so quickly, it's amazing. That's often what separates the best from the rest, I think.
Okay, so thinking about who might win and who might not, let's go back to those DraftKings predictions. They're backing Leclerc, but they're not so sure about Red Bull. Why do you think they're a bit down on the reigning champs?
Well, Red Bull has been the team to beat, for sure, but they haven't been quite as dominant lately. The others, especially McLaren and Ferrari, they've closed the gap. So it's not that Red Bull won't be competitive. It's just, well, the competition is much tougher this year.
So it's getting closer to the top, makes it even more exciting, right? What about Perez specifically, though? DraftKings mentioned him as a potential, let's say, underperformer. Do you think all the rumors about his future are affecting him?
It's hard to say for sure, but the driver market, it's always a bit of a circus, isn't it? All that speculation and gossip. And for Perez, yeah, not knowing where he'll be next year, that can't be easy. F1 drivers need to feel confident, secure any doubts, and it can creep into their performance.
Yeah, it's a head game as much as anything. Right, let's shift gears a bit and talk about the championship itself. What are some of the, the most likely scenarios we could see in Abu Dhabi, both for the race win and for the Constructors' Championship?
Well, looking at recent form and how the cars perform at Yas Marina, I think Leclerc's got a good shot at the win. He's been quick. And that Ferrari seems to suit the track.
You're saying Leclerc for the win, but what about the championship? Ferrari needs to close that 22-point gap, remember?
Exactly. If Leclerc wins and Norris, let's say he finishes outside the points, well, then Ferrari could actually steal the championship. It would be an incredible comeback, given how they started the season.
Now that would be something. But what if Norris does finish in the points? Can McLaren still win, even if Leclerc takes the checkered flag?
Oh, absolutely. Let's say Leclerc wins and Norris comes second. That would still be enough for McLaren to win the Constructors. It would show just how consistent they've been, how well they handle pressure.
So it's going to be a tense one either way. Every point will matter. Could even come down to the last lap. What about the other teams, though? Could someone else sneak in and grab the win?
It's not impossible, but it's unlikely. But hey, this is F1. You never know. A safety car at the right time, a bit of strategic genius. Someone could get lucky.
It's what keeps us all hooked, isn't it? That unpredictability. Okay, before we get too carried away with all the what-ifs, let's talk about the drivers themselves. Who do you think will be the key players in this race? Welcome back to the Deep Dive. We've been breaking down the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix from every angle, haven't we? The championship fight, the track, the strategy, it's all coming together.
Yeah, and now it comes down to the drivers, right? Each of them has a job to do, and the pressure is huge.
Absolutely. So let's talk about the guys at the top. Verstappen, obviously, he's already got the driver's title wrapped up. But, we know he always wants to win. How do you think he'll approach this race, with the constructors still up for grabs?
Verstappen, he's such a competitor. I can't see him just coasting around. He'll go for the win, but he's also a team player. Red Bull will want those constructor points, so maybe Verstappen will have to help out Perez a bit, play the team game.
So we might see Verstappen sacrificing his own race for the team. That'd be interesting. But what about Norris and Leclerc? They're the ones right in the thick of the championship fight.
Yeah.
Two young guys, both desperate to win.
Yeah, and they're such different personalities too, aren't they? Norris, he's so calm, so consistent. He's really stepped up this year. Leclerc, on the other hand, he's all about that raw speed, that passion. I think he really wants to prove that he can bring Ferrari back to the top.
It's like their driving styles reflect their personalities. Norris is the strategist, Leclerc's the gunslinger. But we can't forget about Jack Doohan, making his debut for Alpine. And DraftKings has him as a bit of a dark horse.
Doohan, yeah. He's earned his shot, that's for sure. Done really well in the lower categories. It's a big step up to F1, but he doesn't seem fazed by anything. I doubt he'll be on the podium, but I wouldn't be surprised to see him in the points.
A good result for a rookie, that's for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Just shows how much young talent is coming into F1 right now. But we've talked a lot about strategy, and with the Constructors' Championship so close, do you think we'll see teams taking some big risks?
Oh, absolutely. There's so much at stake. We could see undercuts, overcuts, maybe even someone switching to a faster tire at the end to try and chase down the leader. It's going to be as exciting in the pit lane as it is on the track.
Sounds like we're in for an epic race.
Yep.
Championship battles, a rookie debut, crazy strategies. Who knows what's going to happen? But before we go, I want to ask you something a bit bigger picture. We've talked about how Red Bull and Mercedes might not be dominant forever. Do you think this race, this Abu Dhabi Grand Prix, could be the start of a new era in F1?
It's a good question. We're so used to seeing Red Bull and Mercedes at the front, it's hard to imagine anything else. But things change, right? New teams are coming up, young drivers are challenging the old guard. Technology is always evolving.
That's what makes F1 so great, I think. It never stands still. Maybe Abu Dhabi will be the start of something new. New rivalries, new champions, whole new level of excitement.
It's exciting to be a part of it, that's for sure. Who knows what the future holds? But one thing's for sure. We're in for a wild ride, and Abu Dhabi is the perfect place to kick it all off.
It's been great chatting with you, breaking down all the details of this race. We've covered a lot, haven't we? Championships, drivers, strategy, the future of the sport. To everyone listening, thanks for joining us on the deep dive. Make sure you tune in for the race. It's going to be one to remember. And, as always, keep exploring, keep learning, keep that F1 passion alive.
If you enjoyed this video, please consider supporting this channel by hitting the subscribe and like buttons. This will help the channel grow and expand on the journey we have begun together here at AI Meets You.